Chronicles,
Friday
Friday Night
Live.
Live.
Ask
Ask Dr. Yvette anything.
Our
Our topic this evening is community resources. And the reason for this topic is that is one of the most important resources or the most important things that you as a caregiver or as the overseer of your loved one or even for yourself need to know about so that you can, when you are working with your loved one or yourself, or if someone comes to work with you, if you need a caregiver, that you will make the decisions that are best and you'll know what resources are available. So what we're going to do tonight is go over a list of resources that are in the community in some areas, and then we can talk about it if you have any questions. Let me tell you a little bit about Caregiver Chronicles. Caregiver Chronicles is a 16-module online course on caregiving. The courses take you from the onset of your loved one's illness all the way until your recovery or you transition from your loved one's illness. So I wanted to just tell you that about Caregiver Chronicles. If you're interested, you can visit our website, and that's www.caregiverchronicles247.com, or you can email me at caregiverchronicles247@gmail.com. Okay, thank you so much. So if you have questions, let me know. Type them in the chat, or you can always comment as well. So we have someone that just joined us. So I'd like to introduce her, Carolyn Holt. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Well, hello, Yvette. How are you?
Good, good. Glad you could join us. We want to talk tonight about community resources. Now, last week we had a segment and we talked about community resources. And the reason why we're revisiting this is because there are so many resources in the community and we don't want to overlook any. So we kind of had a briefing on resources last week, but this week we're going to talk about a list of community resources that I'm going to share my screen shortly. So community resources are just any entity that provides resources and support to you or your loved one. So let me just share my screen if I may, so that way we can go over the resources that we have available to talk about tonight, okay? All right, let's see. Give me just one moment. Okay, are you able to see the resource on the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good, good. And let me just try to make this full screen so it'll be a little better to see, a little easier on the eye, if you will.
Well, it's very, I was just going to say it's pretty large where.
Pretty large where you can see. Okay, good, good. So we want to talk about the community resources that are listed here today. And basically what we have is the first resource that's on our list is Access Paratransit Services. And Access is a curb-to-curb transportation service for people with disabilities, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So if it's a holiday and you want to go somewhere, you want to visit a loved one, or you want to just hang out a little bit, or you want to go to the park, whatever you want to do in LA County, if you will, you can use that source to go and have, you know, some time with your family or your loved one or whomever you're interested in doing so. So I wanted to bring that up. Let me put us on the screen here, Mrs. Holt, so we can see you as well, okay?
Okay.
All right, hold on one second. Let's see. Okay, so this is, I'll put us over here in the corner. Okay, so now community resources, that was the Access Paratransit. Now let's talk about adult protective services. Adult protective services is important because sometimes there's a situation where the loved one or yourself may have a situation that could be dangerous or detrimental to your health. It's a reporting line for elder and dependent adult abuse. So say for instance, you have a loved one that's taking your money or they're spending your monies without your wishes. And then you can call that number, or someone else can call in and make a report, and they can remain anonymous if they choose to do so. And then they will be investigated to make sure that, you know, the resources and the person's financial resources are intact and they're being spent properly. Also, there is a area where you can report dependent adult abuse. So it has to be an elderly person that's dependent on someone or dependent adult abuse that you can report on this line. Now, say for instance, you have someone that's being physically, mentally, emotionally, and psychologically abused. This would be a line where you would report that as well. This is for adults, though. They do have a specific entity for children, but this particular one is for adults, and that's Adult Protective Services. Now, we're talking about LA County when we have the numbers on the screen, but you can always find this information in your state, whatever state you're in. If you are in, say, South Carolina or North Carolina, you can, you know, dial 211 or call the operator and ask for the entity where you can report Adult Protective Services. So don't feel like because it says LA County on the paper here that it's restricted to LA County, because they have these entities in every state. So wanted to make sure you're aware of that. Now, we also have information here on All About Love and Care. Sherry Wright is a person that I worked with for many years. She has a program where they have caregivers that will go out and assist in the home and help, you know, those who are in need. And so Sherry's program is very good. I referred someone to her in the last week or so, and the person was very happy. They actually selected her services. So this is her information as well. And then
let me, if I may, add just an additional bit of information.
Sure.
All About Loving Care is it's an excellent tool for clients, because there are so many clients in the Los Angeles and Los Angeles County area that they don't have resources, because they may not be connected to a church or some kind of wellness organization, or they may not even be under a doctor's care.
Right.
This is an excellent resource, because so many people are in need of loving care and they don't know the first step, and sometimes they don't financially qualify. They're out of the realm of in-home supportive services.
Right.
And this is an excellent resource in terms of them getting started. Right. So for the people out there who you may know that need care, this is a great number for them to have, because this is kind of where people fall through the cracks in the first place.
Right.
They're not connected to in-home supportive services, and they don't know what they're going to do, and they're not sure that they can afford a caregiver. So this is an excellent resource to get started if you are unsure about what to do.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add that.
No, that's fine. That's perfect. Yeah, because you want to know who to contact when you do need help. And so
exactly
a definite resource to contact to even what she does. And I can just attest to this as well. She will, once you contact her and you tell her that you're interested in the services, she will either come to your home and do an assessment and determine what your actual needs are, and then let you know how she can help you, or she will have you come to her office. Because I think the person that I referred to her this week, they went to her office, I believe, yesterday, and they, you know, were able to retain their services. So it's important to know what the resources are, and it's also important to know who to go to get those resources. And she is definitely one that will work with you. And I've seen her bend over backwards to help people that need help. I gave her one of the most difficult clients you could ever have, rest her soul. I loved her like a mother. And she is gone on to heaven, but she went to this person's home. This person called the police on her and did all kind of things. And so she had no problem going out. She's kind of reminds me of me. She'll go to the home and see the patient. She don't have a problem doing it. and she will make every effort to ensure that the person has the support that they need if she's able to. And so that's a great resource. That's all about loving care. And her name is Sherry Wright. She is the director. And then the next resource we have here is the Alzheimer's Association. They have information about Alzheimer's disease and related disorders. They have referrals to daycares, diagnostic centers, support groups, legal services, case management, home health agencies, physicians, nursing homes, et cetera, literature and education programs. And so this entity basically, focuses on those who have Alzheimer's disease and dementia, but they are also a resource for you. So if, say, for instance, you don't know what to do, your loved one just got an onset diagnosis of having dementia, and you're just like, okay, so what do I do now? You would contact them, or you would actually contact Caregiver Chronicles as well, and ask for help, ask for guidance and direction. And we would be happy to help you with that. And the Alzheimer's Association, if your loved one does have Alzheimer's, we would refer you to them as well. But I do want to say that any entity or any ailment that you have, Caregiver Chronicles is appropriate for, because we don't specialize in a specific ailment. We specialize in all ailments. So any ailment you have, we would be the source to get some resources and support for you and your loved one, as well as private consultations. So now let's go on to the next one. The next resource that we have is Beverly Hills Handy Worker Program. And this one is in LA County. It's on the west side of LA and West LA. But as I said, if you're in another state, you can always contact myself, and we'll help you find a resource in your state, or we will refer you to another entity that can search for resources as well. So this is the Beverly Hills Handy Worker Program, and they basically help with free installation of grab bars. A lot of times when people are seasoned, if you will, they're in their bathroom and you hear about them falling a lot. And so this is important because you want to make sure that you have the grab bars and home safety equipment. This will cut down on accidents. This will cut down on broken hips. This will cut down on, a lot of things that elderly come about. They have, breaking bones because they don't have the means to hold on to things to grip onto and hold on to. And so they will come in and do a safety evaluation of your home, and then install safety equipment as well. And it's for low-income seniors. And this particular entity is run by the Jewish Family Services. And so this is an important entity as well. I don't think they just, service Jewish people, but it is run by that entity. And so I wanted to bring that up. Ms. Carolyn, did you have anything you wanted to interject?
Not at this point. I'm thinking once you give all of these out, we're going to maybe read the phone numbers so that just in case they can't see it, once we're done, we'll just read the phone numbers off, because all of these are good.
Okay, perfect. And then Child Protective Services. Now, just because we're adults doesn't mean that we don't have any children that need Caregiver Chronicles also, because there are some children that are medically fragile. They are a part of DCFS. They have medically fragile children. Some people have medically fragile children at their residence. And so Child Protective Services is an entity that covers any concerns regarding children, sexual abuse, child abuse, sexual, psychological, physical, emotional, any type of abuse related to a child. This is the number where you would report. And so we're going to go back over the numbers, as Ms. Carolyn said, when we're done. Okay, so we'll read them out just in case you're listening in, you don't have access to, to see us on the screen. But if you're listening in, we will send that, make sure you get that information. And then, so Child Protective Services, I actually work for them. It's a great resource because you don't have to prove that there is abuse. If you suspect that there's some abuse, then you make the report, and you can remain anonymous. If you are a mandated reporter, like a healthcare professional, a doctor, nurse, or social worker such as myself, you do have to give your information. But if you are a private citizen and you want to make a report because you think that Jane is abusing her children or someone is abusing this child, then you can make that report. You can remain anonymous, and then you can, you know, have them go out and investigate, and they'll do an investigation to determine if the allegations are substantiated. So that's important as well. Um, so that's Child Protective Services. And then there's citywide discounted taxi coupons. That's important because a lot of elderly or seasoned, I don't like to use the word elderly, I don't like to use the word old, a lot of seasoned individuals need to have some type of way to transport, not just access. They might want to go somewhere and they're able to go. They might be able to ride the regular bus, but they may not have the funds to do so. And so City Ride is a discounted taxi coupon service. A lot of the senior centers have that information available where they will provide taxi coupons for you or your loved one. And so it's always best to ask. Don't feel like you shouldn't ask a question. If you think you need some help with something, say something. And even if they say no, at least you ask, at least you'll know, you know, that you made the effort and that that resource may or may not be available to you. But if you don't say anything, then you'll never know. So that's really important. Okay. So that's information about how to apply for discounted taxi coupons for seniors. And then our next resource is the Elder Abuse Hotline. And this is to report neglected, abused, or mentally incapacitated seniors and dependent adults. So the other resource that I read off earlier, let me go back, is Adult Protective Services. And it's a reporting line for elder and dependent adult abuse also. But the second one that I'm reading off, it's for adults who are neglected and that type of thing. So I think they're kind of one and the same. But this one deals with neglected, abused, or mentally incapacitated seniors and dependent adults. So say, for instance, you have an adult who has Down syndrome or something like that. And they're not, you know, they may be an adult in their age, but they may have the mental capacity of a minor. And so that person would be considered a dependent adult. And so they're dependent on someone else for their care, for their livelihood, to make sure that all their needs are met. And so that's important. Elder Abuse Hotline, you can call that number. You can remain anonymous, as I said, but you do, if you are a medical professional, you do have to give your information. So that's important as well. And then we have here a home security program in Montebello, California, that helps with free installation of grab bars. So this is sort of like the handyman program in West LA, but this one is in more like East LA. So it's like in the Montebello area. And they have grab bars and other home safety equipment for qualified low-income seniors in select areas. And this particular entity is run by the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation. So this is important as well. And so if you have someone in that area, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. If you need help, you must say something, let them know, and they will come out and do an assessment and determine what resources or what they can do to assist you in making your home safe so that you can cohabitate there and not have the risk of falling. I mean, you can always fall, but if you have the grab bars, if you have the necessary equipment in place, then it lowers the likelihood of you having an accident of some sort, okay? So the next resource is Jewish Family Services, County of Los Angeles. And remember, we're not just in LA County, we're all over, but these resources are specific for LA County here that we're mentioning, but they do have them in other states. So this particular entity provides meals, shelter, activities, transportation, and other services for older adults. So it sounds like it's more of a shelter, all-inclusive, if you will. It provides meals, shelter, activities, transportation, and other services for older adults. So it is a community center, from what I gather, and they have resources in LA County for individuals that need help. And I'm almost sure that in every state there is some type of Jewish Family Services Center that will be able to provide you with some support. So if you are in another state, if you have questions or you're interested in this information for your state, you can always type it in the chat, or you can go on the website, www.caregiverchronicles247.com, You can send a message to me there. There's a link there where you can click on it and set up an appointment. And you can also send a message, whichever is best for you. And then you can also email me at email is Caregiver Chronicles 24/7 @gmail.com. So you can do that as well. So now we're going to go down and look at the Los Angeles Caregiver Resource Center. Now, last week we had Donna Benton from the Family Caregiver Resource Center, and this is the same entity. She talked about her program. They have help for brain impaired adults and caregivers regarding stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's, brain injuries, etc., support groups, short-term counseling, respite for caregivers, resource and information, in-home visits, legal and financial workshops for families, respite care and funds. So this particular entity, I actually, I think I told you last week that my mother had this resource as a respite care because she had Alzheimer's disease. And about, I'm going to say 6 months before she passed, I did receive a stipend from them to help with respite care. And so this is a great resource as well. And I believe Dr. Benton mentioned that this entity is in other states as well. So not this particular entity, but there are other entities of this sort in other states. So I just wanted to bring that up as well. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. And please feel free to jump in, Ms. Holt, and when you're ready.
I know you're doing an excellent job of explaining, these, not only the availability of the service, but the specific need that these services address, because that's also important when people are seeking help with their individual situations. So you're doing an excellent job of giving out just a bird's eye view of what they do, so that you can have a little bit more information when you reach out and want to contact.
Right. Okay, so now we have the Los Angeles City Department on Aging, or Department of Aging, and they have information about senior programs throughout the city of LA. Like if you want to go to a senior center or a senior program throughout Los Angeles County, they have programs for that. They have different types of programs for seniors, maybe an adult day program, different entities that are available for your loved one. Say, for instance, you're a caregiver for your loved one and you have to go to work, as I did. And so I had to find someone to come in and dress mama, bathe her in the morning and get her ready and take her to the daycare, the adult daycare. And then after I got off of work, I would pick her up and then take her home, and then I would have her in the evening. And so these are some of the entities that have that type of resource available for you if you need it. And so we'll go back and get the number for that as well. Then we have Los Angeles County Community and Senior Services. Now, this is the one that has information about the senior programs throughout the county of Los Angeles as well. So the first one was the city, and this one is the county. So they kind of broken up. The city of Los Angeles is within the county of Los Angeles. And so, there's different programs for the different counties and the different cities. So this would be a program where you could call and get information on the programs in the county of Los Angeles, which is a larger range of area, a larger demographic area. And then the next resource we have is the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. This is their 24-hour hotline. It's the Child Protection Services hotline. And it's open 24/7. 365, it never closes. So say, for instance, it's the middle of the night, you hear a child screaming, you can call this number and they will come out. Okay, and this is in every state, I'm sure, has some type of entity that would cover this type of service for your loved one or for your children or whomever needs the services. So I wanted to bring that up as well. And then the next resource we have is the Los Angeles County In-Home Supportive Services. Now this is a great program. I always try to get my mother into this program, but she never could qualify because her income was a little above the threshold. But I found out recently that they have changed that threshold, and that threshold is like $1,400 now. Okay, 14 something, 1425 or something like that. Now, back when I was dealing with it, it was $1,000. So mom made a little more than that. And so she never qualified for this program. And I'm going to change these numbers on this document because it says home help for individuals with monthly income of less than $1,000 a month and with no more than 2,000 in the savings. So I know the 2,000 in the savings, I think that's the same, but I think now it's 1,400 a month that you could have and still get this service, but you have to be eligible for Medi-Cal, which means you're low income. And if you have Medi-Cal, then you will likely have a share of cost if you get $1,400 a month. And when I say share of cost, I mean that if I say, for instance, I get $1,400 a month, and the limit is 1,000 a month, then I'm going to have to spend $400. Either I'm going to have to spend $400 in medical bills or in paying for a caregiver or some type of expense that I can offset, or I'm going to have to take that $400 and pay it on something, whatever services I need, before they'll give me any services each month.
And the additional information that they need to know is if they can't make that work, they will, the in-home supportive services will take the salary of your caregiver.
Right.
I found that out personally. So it is very important if you receive a letter that regarding share of cost, do not ignore the letter, because they will take the money wherever they can get it until you prove that you have an expense that meets that requirement.
So they'll take it out of the caregiver's money, basically.
Yes, they will. They will take it out of the payments that the caregiver actually receives for the work that they do. If your share of costs, if you have not allocated dental, optical, or something that to
will
use.
Offset it.
Yes.
So say, for instance, get an extra $400 a month over what you are supposed to have in this program, that they're either going to take it away from your caregiver's money, or you're going to need to spend it down. Like if you have dental bills, medical insurance, if you have any bills related to your health, like if you have medication that's very expensive, you can write those things off and spend down that $400, because if you don't, they're going to get it some way or the other.
That is correct.
So they are definitely going to do that. And so I wanted to bring that up. Okay, so that's in-home supportive services. And this is a program that the county has where they will pay for someone to assist with your care. You have to be considered low income. You have to have Medi-Cal to get it. You have to be eligible for Medi-Cal. Matter of fact, if you call the number and put in an application for yourself, which you can do over the phone, they will put you through Medi-Cal review if you do not have Medi-Cal. And so
the other important factor to know about this particular program is that the caregivers have to go through a training and be certified.
Life scan. They have to do background checks.
That's right. And and to be trained in terms of dealing with certain issues that come up in caregiving. So is excellent if you can get a caregiver who has the certification through this, because more than likely, whatever it is that you need, you're going to be able to get it in someone that is actually referred by them.
Right. So yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because yes, the caregiver does have to go through a background check, and that's the Department of Justice background check, which is threefold. It's a federal, state, and criminal background check. So they will definitely check you out if you are going to be that caregiver for a person. They have a registry of caregivers that, you can get that list and go through it and see if you can pick someone there. But what I was saying was that what you do is you do the application over the phone. They're going to put you through Medi-Cal review. And if you're eligible for Medi-Cal, then you're eligible for this program. If you're not eligible for Medi-Cal, you're not eligible for this program because you have to have Medi-Cal to get it. So that would be the process. If you go through that process, the Medi-Cal review, it takes like 60 to 90 days for that to be processed. If you already have Medi-Cal and you sign up for the in-home supportive services, then you will be, it'll take about 30 days, 30, 45 days. With the COVID, it might take a little longer, but to come out and do an assessment and determine how many hours a month you are eligible for. And so that's how that works. They will maybe give you a form that you will take it to your doctor and have your doctor fill it out to determine what your physical needs are. So I just want to reiterate that. So that's a great program, though. I think it's a great resource, especially for those who are low income. And a lot of people who are retired, they fall into that category because once you retire, your income is significantly different. And so, you know, I just wanted to bring that up. Okay. So then now our next resource is Meals on Wheels. That's a hotline. Meals on Wheels is a senior, a seasoned, I'm gonna say a seasoned lunch program where they will bring lunch to your home Monday through Friday during the middle of the day. And it's usually warm when they bring it. If it's a hot meal, they'll bring a hot meal to you. And so you can, you know, have that come out, and you have to be homebound to get that program. You cannot.
And also they, the meal on that day is hot, but they bring the subsequent meals so that you can heat them or whatever it is that you need to do. But on the day that they bring the actual meal, it is ready for you to eat.
Right.
So.
And it's usually around lunchtime when they bring it, because they usually bring lunch Monday through Friday.
Yes. And you know, there is some concern though, because a lot of people have been told that for Meals on Wheels, they have to pay a specific amount of money in order to participate in the program. And the Meals on Wheels program that I was associated with, that was not true. That when a client of mine had Meals on Wheels, she was not paying. So could you clarify whether they actually have to pay for this service, or does it depend on the organization that provides the meals?
Yeah, it does. It does. And just to clarify, most entities will charge you for the meals. It's not very expensive, but there are some that don't charge, but most of them do. And it varies depending on the actual location where you're getting the meals. Most of the meals are prepared and disseminated or distributed out from the senior centers. But yes, they do charge for it. And I thought at one point that they weren't charging for it, and then they started charging for it. So I don't know how that's working now. I haven't been privy to that information recently, but I do know that they do charge for them. So unfortunately, that, you know, I mean, if I'm low income and I need meals, I'm going to have to pay this. They may be $5 to $10, and some of them we're charging like $5 a day, and that's not,
I was not aware of, because it varies from area to area.
It does.
That's good to know. But you know what I'm going to do next week? I'm going to follow up and find out exactly what the requirements and what the level of financial responsibility one would have to have. So I'm going to see if we can clarify this particular
clarify for next week. Okay. And then there's an 800 number, probably can call. That 800 number will probably maybe be able to give us that information. But then they may not, because they might say it's up to each individual entity that, you know, receives the meals and how they charge. And if so, then you might check with the community and senior services, the entity that's over the senior centers, and they'll probably be able to give you a better outlook, or either call some of the senior centers, you know, directly too. So one way or the other, we can get that information. Okay, so now that's Meals on Wheels. It's a hot lunch program. You have to be homebound to get that lunch program. You cannot be someone who can get up and go out and navigate the bus system and leave your home. When I say homebound, that means you cannot leave your home without help or assistance. And so that's what that means. Of course, you got to go to your doctor's appointments. You know, if you go to Access and go to your doctor's appointments and you use the transportation access, they don't consider that, I don't think, to be in conflict of being homebound. But if you can go out to the grocery store and do your own grocery shopping and that type of thing, then Meals on Wheels is not something that you will likely be eligible for. So just be cognizant of that. So now let's go on to Medi-Cal and food stamps. And Medi-Cal, of course, we talked about that a few moments ago. You can always do an application for that over the phone when you do the in-home support, because they automatically put you through Medi-Cal review. But the food stamps, I'm not really, I know there's been some changes with regard to the food stamps.
Yes, it's depending on your financial situation. So it's something that you have to be evaluated for.
Okay.
And once the evaluation will let you know what the amount you qualify for. So it is something where there's an evaluation that must take place.
Right, right. So the food stamps um, basically are given out based on your income. And those who receive, I believe it's general relief, are likely eligible for the food stamps because they're considered low income. So that's another area too that is important for you to know about, because if you're struggling to have food every week or make it through the end of the month, or sometimes I remember people telling me I get to the 25th of the month and I got to figure out how I'm gonna eat the rest of the month before the first when I get paid or before I get my food stamps again. So it's important that you have some kind of an outlet, and there's food banks also that we can, also connect you with. So if you have any questions and you're listening in, please type in the comments, or you can reach us at www.caregiverchronicles247.com. You can email at caregiverchronicles247@gmail.com, and you can schedule an appointment if you're interested at the website. Whichever is best for you, we'd be happy to talk with you and see how we can best support you and your family. So now let's go on to the next one. It's Project Angel Food. And that is a program where they provide a vital lifeline of hope and nutrition to those struggling with specific illnesses.
Chronic illnesses, to be exact.
Yeah, chronic
diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, things that
HIV
is possible. Yes.
HIV and end-stage renal disease, like if you're on dialysis, those are the types of meals. And if I recall now, they may not do it now, but they would bring meals for the whole month when they would come out.
The week. They bring them a week.
A week at a time? Okay.
Yes.
Because I know they would bring quite a bit when they did.
Yes, they do.
Coming with quite a bit of meal. And I don't think it was just for lunch either. I think it was more than just lunch.
They bring fruit.
Yeah.
And vegetables and some, some treats.
Right.
So yeah, it's a variety of things, but the main thing they bring is a entire meal prepared with the chronic illness in mind.
Right. Okay. Okay, 1 second. Oops, did I do something?
Yes, we have a blank screen now.
Okay, give me just a second. Okay, the sharing of the screen is a unique experience for me, so just
I understand.
Horses, if you will. Let me get it back up here. Let me stop sharing my screen and then I'll get it again. I think I can get it. 1 moment. Okay. There it is. What happened to it? It went away, but I don't know where it went. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Come on. All right. Each and every day is a learning experience.
Yes, it is, on Zoom in particular.
Okay, so now what happened to my okay, it's there, but I don't know where it is. Let's see if it went to the top. Oh boy. What is this? Switch to window. I hit something. I hit the exit key and then, oh, I see where it went. Let's see. All right, it's here. There it is. Ha. Okay, I went to the bottom of the screen. That's what I did. So now, can you see it on the screen? No?
No, not yet.
Okay. 1 second. Now I got to share the screen. Okay, here we go. Here we go again. All right. There we are again. My apology. Okay, so now we're going to talk about.
Social Security was the very last one.
It was? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so we were at the bottom, huh? We were at the end.
Yes, we're at the very end.
Social Security. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Social Security. We know what that basically is. This is a national number for questions about Social Security and Medicare. Medicare is a program that, of course, provides medical insurance for those who have worked a certain number of quarters throughout their life. Say, for instance, you have to work so many quarters to be eligible for Medicare when you turn 65. And then Medicare is also eligible for those who have specific chronic health conditions. So say, for instance, you have kidney failure and you're on dialysis, you are automatically eligible for Medicare, okay? If you have chronic alcoholism, that is one of the diagnoses also that qualifies you automatically. It doesn't matter how many hours or quarters you've worked, you automatically have access to the Medicare, as well as HIV or AIDS. You have the Medicare. So there's about 5 or 6 different ailments that will automatically qualify you for Medicare. So I wanted to bring that up. But Medicare is basically for those who have worked so many quarters and then those who have the chronic health condition. Social Security, are you want to talk about that a little bit, Ms. Holt? Because I'm not as privy to that as I should be.
Well, Social Security, they are basically just a financial resource in terms of your care. It's a guaranteed income, but you have to be careful if you are ill and you recover, though, because you're only allowed X amount of dollars if you are able to work and you have more than one job. So you have to be careful about that. But if you're ill, it's money that you have paid in from working many years. So
Right.
You're available for full benefits at 65. If you wait until 70, you get an even higher amount, but you can apply and get Social Security at age 62, especially if you are ill. Some people, they need that income.
Right.
So they can't afford to wait until they're 65 or 70.
Right.
So we still have it at the moment. We don't know what's to come.
Okay.
Based on the political climate, but
Yes.
At this very moment, it is available, and you can start to receive it as early as 62 years old.
And then also, if you have specific medical conditions, as far as like if you are handicapped,
yes, that's a supplemental Social Security.
Supplemental security income. So that you're eligible if you have certain handicaps too. Like say, for instance, you're paraplegic or you're quadriplegic and you're not able to ever really basically make the means to sustain yourself as far as work is concerned, then you can be eligible for that as well. So.
And they will share that information with you when you apply.
Okay,
So,
you call them or contact them.
Yes, make sure that you tell them all about yourself so that.
Okay, so we want to go back and recap and give out phone numbers now, just in case you missed the information on the screen. So we'll just go through each one and give out the number to call. And sometimes numbers change. And before I printed this document, I went through and called the numbers to make sure they were still current, but that doesn't mean some of them have not changed. So if you do get a number that's changed that I give you tonight, and you have some questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'll give you the website again when we're done, and then you can get in touch with me and we'll make sure you get the information you need. Remember that we cover all states. We're not just in California. This information is mostly for California, but we can help you in whatever state you are in in the United States of America. So Access Services, Access Paratransit Services basically is what it's called. And that phone number is area code 800-827-0829. And that's the 800 number for LA County. Each county has their own access transportation service. So if you're in another county within LA County, or if you are in another state, there is I know in Memphis, Memphis, they have a specific transportation service. So each state will have their own transit entity that handles transportation for the seniors and the disabled as well. So if you're interested, let us know and we'll get that information for you. Once again, Access Paratransit Services for LA County is 1-800-827-0829. And then the next resource we have is Adult Protective Services. That's for LA County. Reporting line for elder and dependent adult abuse. This number is during working hours. Okay, that's what it is. It just went back, came in my head. The 213 number here on the screen, 213 is the area code 3515401. If it is during the day and you want to talk with someone, you can call that number and they will respond to you. They'll tell you if you have made a report, you can follow up with them and they'll tell you where that report was sent, which local office it went to. So that's the number to call for that. And then the other number is for reporting 24/7, 365. So I'll give you that one as well. Sherry Wright, All About Love and Care. She's the director of that program. Her number is 424-269-8727. You can always give her a call. If you do call her, please let her know that you were referred by Caregiver Chronicles, that Yvette Jackson referred you to her. Please do so. And she provides in-home assistance. She'll come out and do an assessment, determine what your needs are, and then work with you in that capacity. The Alzheimer's Association for LA County, it's area code 800-272-3900. That's the entity that has specific resources for those who have dementia or Alzheimer's disease. So you can always call that number as well. Beverly Hills Handy Worker Program, west side of West Los Angeles area. This is the handyman program for installation of grab bar safety in the home. That number is area code 424-363-7120. And then we have Child Protective Services. This is the 800 number for reporting child abuse. It's over 24/7, 365, any day of the week, any holiday, doesn't matter. They're always available and they will come out on an emergent basis. Say for instance, like I said, you hear a child screaming and you tell them what's going on, they may come right away or they may even come with the police. So that's a great resource. It's area code 800-540-4000. That is for LA County. There's various entities in various counties and various states as well. We can help you get that information. City Ride, discounted taxi coupons. They cover most areas. They cover various area codes as I see here. So if you're in Los Angeles, it's the 213 or 323 or 310, or you have an 818 area code. For any of those area codes you can use. And then the number is 808-7433. And that's for information about how to apply for discounted taxi coupons for seniors. And then we have Elder Abuse Hotline. That's the number to report neglected, abused, or mentally incapacitated seniors and dependent adults. That number is area code 877-477-3646 for any physical, mental, emotional, or psychological abuse of an adult or senior or seasoned person or a dependent adult. You can call that number. The Handy Worker Program, Los Angeles Department of Housing. They provide free minor home repairs in Los Angeles. That number is 213-808-8803. And looks like you have to be 62 years and older or a disabled individual. And that entity is for Los Angeles Department of Housing. I believe that's the city of Los Angeles. So you can always call that number if you need some help. And if you are in another state, as I said before, you can let us know and we will get that information for you in your state. Home security program is in the Montebello area, mostly East LA area, helps with free installation of grab bars, sort of like the handyman program that was mentioned earlier in the West LA area. They also do home safety evaluations and equipment for qualified low-income seniors, and it is run by the Mexican American Opportunity Foundation. That phone number is 323-890-9600. Let's go down a little bit more. Excuse me. We have the Jewish Family Services in the County of Los Angeles, and that entity provides meals, shelter, activities, transportation, and other services for older adults. You don't have to be a Jewish person to receive services from them, and they cover the County of Los Angeles, and they also have it, I'm sure, in other states if you need that information. The number I have here is 877-275-4537. And then the Los Angeles Caregiver Resource Center, that is an entity that provides stipends and respite care stipends for brain impaired adults and caregivers regarding stroke, dementia, Alzheimer's, or brain injuries, etc. And that number is area code 800-540-4442. And then we have the Los Angeles City Department on Aging. They have information about senior programs in the city of Los Angeles. And that number is 800-834-4777. And that particular entity is for those who are in the city of Los Angeles. And then the next one is for the county of Los Angeles. And that's the LA County Community and Senior Services. They have information about senior programs in the county of LA. That number is area code 800-510-2020. And then we have Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services. So this is the after hours 24/7, 365 Child Protection Services hotline. So if you have any concerns about a child, you don't have to try to prove it or figure it out. If you suspect that there is some derogatory treatment being given to a child, you can call that number and make the report. It's area code 800-540-4000. And then we have Los Angeles County In-Home Supportive Services. You have to be Medi-Cal eligible to get it. You can call the number and they will put you automatically through Medi-Cal review if you do not have it. The number is area code 888-944-4477. You can call that number during working hours and they will do an application over the phone. Make sure you have your social security number and date of birth handy because they will ask for that information. And even if you have a caregiver, they can always call the application in for you, okay? And then we have Meals on Wheels. That's a hotline number. You can call and find out where the program is in your area in LA County, or probably in this, I don't know if that's a local, this is a statewide number, but if you do need it in your state, let us know because Meals on Wheels is universal. It's all over. It's not just in the California area. So the number that I have for California is 800-510-2020. Then we have Medi-Cal and food stamps. Information about health insurance and services for those who meet the low income criteria. You can call this number. It's area code 877-597-4777. Then we have Project Angel Food, where they provide meals, nutritious meals for those who have specific chronic conditions. And that number is area code 323-845-1800. Then we have Social Security Administration. It's a national number for questions about Social Security. And that number is 800-772-1213. So that is a list of the resources that we have available for you tonight. My prayer is that this information is helpful for you, that if you need some resources and support or need some guidance and direction, you will reach out to us so that we can help you. Okay, that's what we're here for. We're here to help you. Ms. Holt, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, I just want to say thank you for your diligence in setting up such a resource program, because you know, so many people need help and so many people need
Right.
information, and many times they don't have a centralized place that they can find it. But you have provided that with the Caregiver Chronicles, which is an excellent tool. So I do hope that you know, from now on, that people will recognize it for the excellent resource that it is,
Okay.
and they can always give you and us a call.
Right.
So I appreciate you for just, I mean, that's a lot of numbers to sit down and pull together and then get accurate information about what each number actually accomplishes. So I
Right.
just want to be the first to say thank you for doing such great work.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So let me just tell you that if you have questions, Caregiver Chronicles is a 16-module online course. We cover all areas of caregiving from the onset of your loved one's illness or your illness all the way until you recover or you transition. We cover every aspect of caregiving. We also have private consultations that are available for you to discuss things that are of a nature that you don't want to share with others. You can reach us on the website, www.caregiverchronicles247.com, or you can email me at caregiverchronicles 247@gmail.com, or you can go on the website. There's an area where you can set up an appointment with me. You can click on, at the bottom of each page, I believe there's an area where you can click on the link and just, it'll take you right to the page to schedule an appointment. I will do private consultations with you. You don't have to register for me to talk to you. If you have some concerns, let me know. And you can also go on the website and type in a message if you have, you know, need for some response. Okay. So my prayer is that this information is helpful for you, that you will seek not only resources and support in the physical, but in the spiritual as well, because God is in control. If you're not a believer, my prayer is that you will become a believer, because he is on the throne and he is the one who guides and directs the things that I do. So I thank you for joining us tonight. We will see you next Friday on Friday Night Live. Ask Dr. Yvette anything. God bless you. Have a blessed week, okay? Thank you, Mrs. Holt, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.